Not Mike. Not Mike.
Calling the Southeast Polk Board of Education meeting on January 5th, 2023 to order. Roll call, Karen?
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Here.
Bridget,
Here.
Tom, Brett,
Here.
Chad,
Here.
Whitney.
Okay, moving on to agenda adoption. I need a motion. Is there any changes to the agenda? No changes to the agenda. I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Karen?
Rick,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes. All right, Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Andy, would you like to read the district vision and mission?
Sure. Southeast Polk will learn, lead, live, have success for college, career, and civic life, engage all students in learning a challenging curriculum delivered through quality instruction.
Thank you. All right, at first, during public comments, we would like to honor the 2023 Teacher of the Year.
Yeah. We're honored tonight to have Crystal with us. She's a 16-year veteran teacher, currently a second grade teacher at Mitchellville Elementary. And as Lori said, also happens to be the 2023 Iowa Teacher of the Year. An award that was established in 1958 by the Iowa Department of Education that is an opportunity to recognize an Iowa teacher who motivates, challenges, inspires excellence, who's respected by students and peers, who's a dedicated professional that helps nurture hidden talents and abilities, who's a creative, caring individual who takes teaching beyond textbooks and blackboards, and who is an exceptional teacher helping to redefine American education. I know that we're all very proud of Crystal and that she'll be an outstanding ambassador for Southeast Polk and education in general.
Thank you.
Speech.
I just want to thank you all for inviting me tonight. I have just felt so much love and support from the entire Southeast Polk community. And so just thank you for inviting me. It's been a wonderful experience already, and I know that I have a lot of really fun things to look forward to.
Congratulations.
Yes,
Thank
great.
you for-
Very, very proud.
Very excited to represent Southeast Polk. I think that this is the best place to be. I love coming to work every day. We have so many positive things happening in our district. We have great leadership, great administrators, and phenomenal teachers. And I just can't wait to share all of that with the state of Iowa. So thank you.
Crystal, I just want
Yeah.
to say, hey, being a former teacher myself, it's just amazing that we have somebody in our district of your caliber. And it's a huge award. You think of the 99 counties and all the schools throughout our state, and you're the one they picked, and that's, wow, that's, I mean, MVP. I mean, it's
Thank
just
you.
it's just fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. We'll be glad to have you back after your tour.
Yes, my
Maybe.
my sabbatical year.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had a lot of questions like, well, if you're the teacher of the year, why are they removing you from the classroom? But I just have to think I've got a bigger platform now to share my experiences with, and so it's a very exciting opportunity. But
Yeah.
I will be back.
Good.
Can I
Awesome.
grab a picture? Oh, are there more?
Good.
I want to grab a picture.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm gonna have her come back with you guys, if that's okay, and then we'll all leave her.
Okay. Stand close. Is that what you want? Okay.
Yes.
I'm sure, but
Ready?
you can see everybody.
I can see everybody. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna come in closer. 1, 2. Oh, you know what? Here, can we move this coat? in the chair? Okay, thanks.
Who wears coaches?
Ready? Here we go. 1, 2. Perfect.
Thank you. All right, we are moving on to our state champions recognition.
Next up, we have the Southeast Polk Rhythmettes, who recently competed in the Iowa State Dance Team Championships, where they won a state title in the kick division.
Wow. Just keep coming.
They're all gonna fit.
They're gonna be able to do their kick routine.
It's a little tight,
A
but
little tight, but you can do it. You can get it done. All right.
That's right.
No wonder our parking lot was full.
Everybody
Yeah.
stand
Yeah.
back.
they just keep coming.
Yeah.
We're doing it for kids.
Really do it for them.
You have some.
They're not gonna come get garbage this time of night, right?
Mary Ann,
Do them in trouble. Oh, hey.
Mary Ann, do you want to say anything about the team when you guys? The pressure's on.
I'm just really proud of these girls. Every year I'm amazed by what they can do. And this year was no different. They represented our school really well. If you were able to see the videos of their performances, they were flawless. So I was really proud of them. Each year it's hard to do as well as the year before. And they know that you guys don't have to squat yet. I told them to get ready for a picture. They listen really well too. Each year it's hard because there's a lot of pressure on them, oh, you're state champions, you're national champions, and they always rise to the occasion and they put in the work and they represent our community really well. And I'm just really proud to be their coach. So good job, girls.
You guys were very, very proud of you
Very
and
proud.
your kick routine this year and every routine before.
Can you guys come up here?
I love watching.
As long as you have them in the picture, I want to be able to see them all.
Are you gonna get in the photo of your coach?
Oh,
Okay.
Mary Ann. Cheers a little bit. You're really tall.
Back his head and that's all. Okay, ready? Awesome, here we go. 1, 2, 3. We'll just do one more. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Congratulations.
We'll park them up.
Big thumbs up, Mary.
He's the sweeper. He goes through and finds the lost.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you.
That's it. I don't see anybody else here yet.
Okay. Should I ask for Kevin any public comments? Okay.
Oh,
All right.
it is crazy. It's really stretching.
Moving on to the consent agenda.
Older, I should say.
We need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It was close.
That was
Which
cool.
one wants to
I
claim
think
it?
Brett edged.
Brett,
edged it out a little
okay,
bit.
Brett edged out Bridget.
Oh, was there somebody else?
Yeah. Karen. Oh, wait a
Bridget?
minute. Before you ask that, my comment to this is added today was early retirements. And I want to say there are some incredibly wonderful teachers that have given many years of service to our school district and will be greatly missed and will be hard to replace. But I know our staff will do a good job getting every one of those excellent teachers replaced. But just please know that you will be missed tremendously in our district. Okay, Karen.
Bridget,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
All right, moving on to old and new business. Item A, dropout prevention at-risk program plan.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just want to ask somebody, I'm not sure who to ask, but on your 6 things of this program, number 4 is intensive counseling services. That's sounds great. I just want to know what intensive means.
They drew straws.
Good evening, board. Thanks for that question. We know that we have counseling at each building in regards to, and we have a counseling curriculum and small groups that each counselor implements at their assigned buildings. We also have intensive counseling where if we see a need for a grief group, or a coping group, a transition group, that would be on top of the regular counseling that's provided. And so a portion of the at-risk funds are dedicated towards that and towards the hiring of those.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, Karen?
Tom,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Moving on to item B, dropout prevention, at-risk modified supplemental amounts. Need a motion?
Motion to
approve.
second.
Any questions? Comments?
Yes. In the previous meeting, the discussion item noted a dollar amount was slightly less than this. The state would actually put down station now allowed our certified enrollment up, which is higher than usual for the state. So we're getting another $1,000 of authority. So the dollar amount, if you look back to the previous board meeting, it's just a little bit less. Okay.
Mhm. Any other comments?
Just a quick question before you get too far. And I probably have asked this before, but I don't remember the answer. So we have authority to spend, it says what, 2,672,000, right? Am I reading that correctly?
I can't see the numbers yet, but that's.
Okay. But we have the, like almost half of that's carryover from the previous year. I'm just curious about why we were not using the full amount every year.
So as we manage tax rate year after year from a budget perspective, this was a planned carryover from the previous year because of how we were doing some of our debt on the side of the capital projects. So the drop off of prevention tax rate specifically, that will be less for the 23-24. So we're usually drawing down that carry forward, knowing for school year and then we'll bump back up to this drop off prevention tax rate.
Okay, so does that mean that this next year, we'll go back up to spending that full
Yeah,
amount?
the spending doesn't change.
Okay.
It's just where the tax rate money is. So again, with our composite tax rate for the school district, different components of it, one being job off prevention. We did it a little bit higher back in for the 22-23 budget year, a little lower for 23-24, knowing that carry forward is coming through, and it'll be normalized moving forward.
Okay. So you're using it just to manage the tax rate? Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Karen?
Brett,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Moving on to item C, the return to learn plan. I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any questions, comments?
Just a reminder that this has to be approved every 6 months by state law in order to continue to remain eligible to receive the CARES and ESSER funding.
Very good.
I have one question about the visitors and volunteers section. It says visitors and volunteers are greatly valued at our schools. Visitors and volunteers will be allowed in all buildings, and we will monitor community conditions and may adjust as needed. The reason I bring that up is when we had our 11 principals come and talk before us, we had 2 elementary principals that were really shutting out the parents in particular and the volunteers at certain things that they were used to being a part of. And according to this, it says that all volunteers are greatly valued and at all schools, which they should be, and visitors, as long as they pass the check-in process. I don't know why we have two schools that aren't in line with the rest of the schools. I guess that's the question.
We can talk after the
Okay.
meeting and you can tell me a little bit more. I'm not aware exactly of what you're saying.
talking about.
Okay.
All right, any other comments or questions? All right, Karen?
Chad,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Moving on to item D, staffing plan update. We need a motion.
Motion to move to approve.
Second.
Thanks, Rick. Comments, questions? Everybody's okay with it? All right. Karen?
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Bridget.
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
All right. Moving on to topics for discussion. Professional development update.
Good evening, board. As we return from winter break, we are planning and preparing for our next district-wide professional learning day. On this particular day, you will see on the handout, we have two facilitators from Solution Tree. Solution Tree is the company that helped guide the PLC process that we've been engaged in for a number of years. As we have come back from our COVID years and our interrupted schooling, we have a renewed focus on core instruction and tier 1 instruction. And so our day for that time is to renew our intentions around tier 1 instruction. As you look at that circle in the bottom right-hand corner, we know that that's the process we do for planning. What we're going to be working on January 16th is more intentional planning around what kind of pitfalls or challenges we might see. So as you're planning our lesson, we know that we might have some students who are learning English, some students who are advanced and already know the content, and how do we plan ahead of time for some things that we might anticipate to support more students in tier 1, so that we have fewer students who need interventions instruction. So that will be the focus of the day. I put in the middle our district improvement goals. So that focus on tier 1 instruction will provide the learning to help us get closer to meeting those goals. And the day is divided. So half of the day will be spent with building PD and building goals, and the other half will be with the district. With secondary teachers in the morning with Casey Honor, and Bryce Amos will be there to help provide support. And then we will meet with elementary teachers.
What's the date of this day?
January 16th.
January 16th. Okay. Very good.
Very good.
Any other
Glad to see Bryce Amos.
Yeah, it'll be good. He has, many of you know, he was the superintendent in Carlisle and has now opened a Solution Tree office in Iowa because the number of schools engaged in this process. And so he's providing statewide support and.
Any other questions?
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, the High School Rise program, Mr. Pettit. Oh, thanks. Lights on.
Evening, everyone. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to present a really awesome project that our students had an opportunity to engage in this year. So I'm going to introduce Chelsea Sadler. She's one of our business teachers. Chelsea spent some time prior to teaching kind of in the entertainment marketing world. So she really brings some great experiences to this class. So she's going to kind of talk about this work-based learning experience class and then kind of introduce the kids to talk about the project that they were kind of tasked with and then show you the product at the end, which we're really excited about. So Chelsea Sadler.
Hi, thank you. Excuse my voice. I swear I'm okay. So yeah, as Mr. Pettit said, I'm Chelsea Sadler. I teach RISE. And RISE is a couple of years old, and it is our work-based learning class. And we partner with local businesses and do projects for them. So we communicate with them on like, what are your bottom 5 things on your to-do list that you can have students work on. And then essentially my classroom turns into an office space. So they go out into the workplace, they have meetings, they conduct meetings, then they come back and then they work on projects for the different businesses. So it's a really cool opportunity for them to get professionalism in the classroom and then just get experiences with networking. So they are all seniors in the class. I'm particularly biased, but I think they're the cream of the crop of the entire school. So I'm really, really proud of them. They worked so hard. I can't even tell you on this project. So I'm just beyond proud of them. I'm going to ask a couple of them to come and speak on behalf of what the culture deck is, but essentially that's what the class is. So if you have any questions, we'll show it. They're going to introduce it. We'll show it. And then we have questions at the end. If you have any questions for me, or if you have any business opportunities, again, my name is Chelsea Sadler. So happy to oblige in any way we can.
I'm Alexis. I'm part of the RISE class. And in the middle of August, we were tasked by Mr. Horton to create a video that encompasses the culture and the diversity and what Southeast Polk really is from a day-to-day basis. And he really wanted the students to do it because he wanted it to feel homemade, because we're in the trenches, I would say, and we're there every day enjoying it. So, yeah.
And then we created this video so we reached out to all of the schools. We scheduled interviews. And then we interviewed all these teachers and then collected a bunch of videos and then edited the video to put this together to showcase off the district. So.
Yeah, please.
Okay. My name is Stephen Wen.
What grade are you guys?
We're all
They're all
seniors.
senior. Okay.
I'm Kenzie Ballard. Hi, I'm Paxton.
I'm Carter Van Elsen.
I'm Carly Rutledge. I'm Sophia Solis.
I'm Sam Peterson.
I'm Zach Mash.
And then, I'm Zach Drewlander.
I'm Alexis.
I want more. That's wonderful. I've enjoyed seeing you work on, well, yeah, I know you did a ribbon cutting right before holiday break, and you helped a business get opened. I know I saw another business you were working with, so it's nice to see you guys out in the community and also learning while doing so. So
I've heard a lot about this program, and I was excited that we get a chance to meet you and say thank you for everything you're doing. That's wonderful.
Yeah, I'm super impressed from what I've seen so far. Was kind of following the progress with Empress Threads as they were beginning to open, and I just thought that is such a cool opportunity, and what a phenomenal job you all did. And just seeing you all sitting here just makes me feel really proud that, you know, you guys are a product of our school system and our community. Well
Yeah.
done.
Yep, you guys look awesome tonight, so very professional.
Yeah.
So it's excited when I walked in, like, wow, what's going on here? But do you guys have any stories like from like the businesses, or have you guys made like contacts or things that are gonna kind of help you going forward? Do you know?
Yeah, one cool thing, so we helped Prairie Meadows schedule their Veterans Day, like breakfast and brunch. So we got to meet all of the like top level people at Prairie Meadows to plan that, and then we helped run it a little bit. So that was a lot of fun.
looked like a wonderful day too.
Yeah, it turned out to be really well.
It's a
or
good event.
go really good.
Yeah.
Also, thank you for being with Empress Threads and Michelle Hansen. She's involved in so many different businesses. I think that's definitely something that's going to be helpful in the future, especially for the business world.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is this your second year?
Teaching course?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's your second year. And how do the students apply to be a part of Southeast Polk Rise?
We're actually starting the application process for the first time. Sorry, for the first time next year. We haven't done an application process. The class, actually, another teacher started in spring of 2020.
Yep.
So
Difficult year
ironically,
to
you didn't
start.
get to necessarily start it. So really the first year was then the fall of 2020, 2021. So businesses couldn't have the kids. So it was kind of a Zoom opportunity for them. And then I took the class over the first year. We could actually go into businesses. So it's just my second year actually doing it. But next year we're going to have an application process. But honestly, it's been just a cool thing to like have the kids. Again, I know I'm biased, but I just feel like every day, like we're just such a family unit that it's the best kids that are like just willing and hungry.
Right.
That's the cool thing is there's like hungry for opportunities.
How many students do you have in the group right now?
13.
And how many are you going to have it like for next year? What's your application number, are you thinking?
Probably cap it at 13 per section.
So
And I
you have
know
lots
that
of
sounds,
interest. You have lots of interest possibly, and so.
yeah, and it is as much as like, it's hard to put a number on it, but in all reality, 13 students who have, because they have each group is, or each student is part of multiple groups.
Right.
So they're partnering with multiple businesses. So the behind the scenes of scheduling it all is just for 13 kids is a lot. So really, if we grow it, that would be incredible. It's amazing. I went and toured the Apex Center last year. Obviously, that's a grand.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see kind of what other schools are doing too, and to kind of see like there is room for growth in that. But I think kind of capping it right now is probably the best opportunity for the kids, because then that also provides them a way of getting their hands in many different things, but not to say we wouldn't grow that in the future, but for right now.
To help answer that question too, it's 13 per section. If we had a huge interest and there was the ability to partner with more businesses, we could potentially create a second section. But again, that's a balancing act between all the other things that Chelsea teaches, marketing, stuff like that. So 13 is kind of the sweet spot per section.
Okay.
And when you say section, what?
Like the class.
Class period.
Okay, so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how many projects did these students work on through the year or as being part of?
Through the semester so far, I think there's been about 5 or 6 projects. Honestly, I know Carly mentioned it. Josh and Michelle Hansen have been like
They have lots of projects.
incredible. Like they've been just amazing, just providing them a lot of really cool opportunities. They've worked on the Salon Suites. They worked on Empress Threads. They've done the Hansen Group, which also has multiple businesses within it. And so they've come in. What's really cool is she's come in and done working lunches with them too. So they've gotten to kind of experience what eating and working at the same time looks like, which sounds like, you know, not that big of a deal. But for the kids, this is a really cool opportunity for them to be provided lunch. It's kind of fun for them. And then just get that exposure. So it depends. Right now, for next semester, I have about 9 projects that are in the works. So it just depends on different things. This project was our baby. Took a lot of time and effort and a lot of facilitating. But, you know, I said to the kids at the end of the day, what's really cool is that you get to leave a legacy of something and have something that is a final product that is lasting too for that. So it just depends on the semester, but there's been about 5 or 6 this semester that.
Are there certain types of businesses or projects that are you trying to hit like a wide array of different types of potential job opportunities in the future? Because I assume part of this is really like, I want to try a lot of things out, get exposure to a lot of different jobs, careers to kind of figure out if anything, you know, clicks that I'm excited about, like video production or marketing or merchandising or whatever.
Yeah, we've had several conversations about interests. For the second semester, we've been working with Melissa Horton, who's the executive director of Chamber of Commerce for Altoona. And she's reached out on a lot of areas of like insurance and banking and human resources and marketing. Marketing is a lot of their passions, but we're kind of tapping into different areas too. A lot of places really want like help with social media. And the kids kind of like that side of things too. So that's been beneficial. But we have kind of several irons in the fire, but we go over what are their interests and what do they want more of, and kind of try and find businesses that are willing to partner. What's really hard is I was emailing with a Green State Bank actually today. She's like, I love this idea. Confidentiality purposes, that's a little bit hard. So sometimes some businesses, it makes it just a little bit more complicated for confidentiality reasons. But again, I say to them, like, top or the bottom 5 things on your to-do list, have the kids do them. Like they get excited about just getting exposure. The city of Pleasant Hill wants us to do like an economic development project this next semester for them. So we are tapping into things that aren't the creative side, but also the number side and trying to get exposure to different things to ultimately see, I really like this or I really don't. Prior to this, Zach was our editor and he didn't, I'm going to speak on behalf of Zach, but he didn't really have any previous experience with iMovie and he just dug in and did it. So it's kind of cool to kind of throw them in the fire a little bit, so to speak, to just give them like, let's figure this out. How do we do this? And that's the grit that I think that they're developing through the course too, is like, I don't know how to do this beforehand, but let's figure it out. And that's, I think, what's been cool too about a collective group that is this small is at the end of the day, like we're a family unit that all kind of problem solves together. And that's the thing that I've just been seeing over and over this semester is like the problem solving and the critical thinking of like, I don't know if I even necessarily like this, but let's figure it out. So kind of figuring that out too. It was a long-winded answer to your question, but.
Hey, you mentioned that you have 9 projects in the works for second semester. That's amazing. Is that the 6 you have plus 3 more? Is it 9 new ones?
Essentially 9 new-ish ones.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to just build where they, again, we tapped into a lot of what their interests were. And so I'm trying to just give them a lot of exposure into different things. So there's a lot behind the scenes that I've tried to give them as much as I can for that. But yeah, essentially 9 new business connections in addition to, not that all 9 will pan out, but they're irons in the fire, so to speak, right now. So we're trying to get that worked out.
Yeah.
I have 2 more questions. One, has there been any failures that they've learned from? Anything that's kind of flopped or not gone well, or anybody wants to?
Someone want to speak on that?
I think in the process of this video itself, we had a lot of ups and downs, especially in the beginning where we didn't know which direction we wanted to go in, or a lot of us didn't even really know what the culture deck is or was. And so I think trial and error was our biggest lesson, and we just tried a bunch of different things, and half of us were on one page and half of us were on a different page. So I think we learned to section off like editors, or like who's good at technology and who's good at that stuff, or how can we interview people, or just different sections that we kind of all got on the same page. And I think that was a big factor of getting it done.
So you learned it wasn't all roses.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to make sure you learned that
Yes.
too.
Definitely had a lot of ups and downs.
Yes. And then the other question I had is, when does this video hit the internet?
Whatever Horton says.
Okay. Who gets to share it? Okay, well done. You
Well
guys, comments anymore?
Fantastic.
Thank
So-
you. We're very proud of you. Keep it up.
Thanks for coming.
Yes. And I'm sure, Jeannie, you can put them to work too, couldn't you?
I feel underdressed. Should have worn some business.
No, it's just Friday night.
No, stay where you are. It's okay.
You could probably put this group to work too, couldn't you, Jeannie? So you can put this group to work too, can you?
Yeah.
That's some good projects.
I've been working. Okay, ready? Everybody look in this? This way. Okay, ready? Here we go. 1, 2. Oh, wait a minute. I can't see. Lori.
I'm trying to get my head around him.
If you go, Lori, go this way a little bit.
yep.
And then Dirk maybe a little bit that way too. Okay, perfect.
You're just too tall, you guys.
Yep. 1, 2, 3. We'll do one more. 1, 2. Perfect. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Oh, that's awesome. More kids, more businesses. And
Nice job.
All right, next up, we have the district warehouse and bus parking project.
Jason Bloom with RDG. He's here to go through the project presentation. We'll have that on screen for you. Jason, you are familiar with. He's also the architect on the stadium project and the softball project.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Jason Bloom with RDG Planning and Design. Here to give an update on the district warehouse and bus parking project. Thank you. So there's a cursor on here? Oh, gotcha. Oh, thank you. So to give you an update on the project, talk a little bit about schedule, the project program, what's included in the building on the site, and then a quick design update. From a schedule standpoint, the bold red dash line is where we're at today. We're about 50% of the way through the design development phase, which essentially means we've verified what the program, what the building size is going to be, how much site paving and circulation that we need to have. So now we're kind of in the phase of beginning engineering, understanding what the electrical systems are, mechanical, plumbing systems, site utilities, all of that type of thing. So we're beginning to wrap up the design development phase. And then we'll start into the construction document phase beginning in February, then wrapping up the final design in preparation to release out to bid at the beginning of March. Hopefully getting bids back by early April and beginning construction in the middle of April to the end of April. And we're also going through site plan review process with the city of Pleasant Hill. We've had a kickoff meeting with the city last month. We are planning on submitting to the city at the beginning of February and hoping for final approval right before the bids at the beginning of March. Site location is just to the west side of the existing bus yard on the east side of campus. The building location will be on essentially the footprint of the old administration building. The old administration building will be removed as a part of this project. As far as the new building, there's one building as a part of the project. It's about 11,000 square feet. It's got a shop area of a little over 8,000 square feet, a break room for staff, restroom facility with one toilet, a covered exterior space as a part of the building, and then a mezzanine storage facility above that break room space, kind of similar to one of the existing buildings in the maintenance area right now. From a site program enhancement standpoint, We are providing electrical hookups similar to what the bus yard has right now, so that Gary and his team can hook up those vehicles in the wintertime. Additional employee parking of about 13 spaces. We're also adding bus parking spaces to the existing bus lot to the east to provide a little bit more room for those buses to park. And then also general site improvements to match the character and the function of the existing bus yard over to the east, including fencing, plantings as that will be required by the city of Pleasant Hill, stormwater detention that will be required by the city of Pleasant Hill, and general utilities to tie into the building. From a design standpoint, this is the existing survey just showing existing conditions. Again, our improvements are primarily to the west of the existing parking lot of the bus yard, with the exception of the some additional parking bays on the east side. And I'll show you that here. This is a proposed site plan. 13 employee parkings on the north side. The paving is the gray area. The proposed building location is the yellow rectangle in the middle of the parking area. We've got a decent amount of paving around that building to make sure that those larger maintenance vehicles can circulate around both sides of the building. We've got coiling door access on both sides of the building for easy access for those vehicles to be able to pull through in and around the building. We've got exterior parking bays on the south side for those maintenance vehicles that can park on the exterior of the building. And we've got some material storage bays for gravel and mulch and things like that on the south side of the site as well. On the east side, the two kind of tannish type buildings are the existing buildings that you have out there right now. And then you'll see the 17 additional bus parking spaces on the east side of your site. So we're just simply tying into the existing concrete that's out there now on that lawn, that flat lawn space that's on the east side. Also from a site security standpoint, the green dash line you see in this diagram is the existing site fencing that encloses the bus yard right now. We're going to copy that and enclose the new expanded facility on the west side and the red fencing there. The blue bubbles are the big sliding chain link gates that we have there for access. We're including one of those in the new portion of the project on the west side of the site as well. And we're working with Jason Kurth and his team for site security cameras and those type of technology elements as a part of the project as well. From a building standpoint, again, just a big wide open space, generally five coiling doors, 3 on the east side, 2 on the west side, for vehicles to be able to pull right through. On the northern portion of the building is the workspace, the break room on the northeast corner. The enlargement of that space is right here. So time for space for breaks, meetings. There'll be shelves in here for employees to be able to pull up laptops if they need to. A small toilet space on the northwest corner of this building, a little kitchenette area on the west side as well. And then you see the stairs on the south side of that space. That gets you up to the mezzanine level for additional storage up in that space, which is level 2 right here. So pretty simple, straightforward design to accommodate Gary and his team's needs. A couple slides here for building elevations and sections. These are a couple of sections, elevations of the building. You can see on the lower left, the coiling doors on the east side of the facility, and then on the south side as well. And then here's a cross section. The upper one shows a cross section through the building where you can see the railing that serves the mezzanine level for their additional storage on that level 2 space there. So that is a super quick review of the design.
Question, and I know I asked this in the construction meeting, but we are nowhere near the geothermal.
Correct.
Where, how far off is the field from the farthest west spot of this site?
It's hard to see in this diagram, but it is southwest, I would say, by at least 50 to 60 feet from where we're
Gonna be
grading.
And the construction crews will be aware of.
We've highlighted that zone on our plans, and we can make extra remarks, do not disturb or bring any vehicles in this zone.
So that they're aware of what it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There'll be some utility work out there. I mean, we're gonna be removing that old administration building, so there's gonna be a lot of stuff happening. Those old trailers that are south of that, those will be gone. There's a sanitary line that we need to relocate. But the good news is with this facility is that a lot of the utilities that are serving the old administration building, we can simply re-tie back in because the building location is in that
Right.
same spot. So there's some good benefit to the building location that we have proposed.
Good.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I just have one for Gary. Gary, does this meet the needs of your department?
Yes, very much so.
Okay, great.
I feel really positive and happy about the
Good. Jason's gonna be on time, right?
From a design standpoint, yes.
Okay.
He's not the problem.
It seems like it's a pretty straightforward project compared relative to like the stadium or 6-7 building, right? It's pretty cut and dry. Are there any major risks that you see? I mean, that with like the grading or the removal of the existing building, or are there any things that you're looking at as kind of flagging as potential delays or cost concerns?
The only thing that is pending right now is that the geotechnical engineers working on wrapping up their geotechnical report, which will provide us with any recommendations based on their soil analysis that they've, so they've completed the boring. They just need to give us the report and analysis. You know, there's always the risk that there's some poor soils there in that location, but you know, the good news is there's a building there now, there's some paving there now. So I would hope that the risk is relatively low. But that's really the only thing out there right now. And I don't see that risk as being high.
Thank you.
It's just kind of just like a recycled design, like something we've got like it's someone else has somewhere else that we're kind of borrowing from, or?
No, not at all.
No,
It's a
just
custom
kind of
design based on, we had early planning sessions with Gary and his team, and you know, they told us how many vehicles they needed in, where they wanted the doors, how many employees they want in that northeast space. So it's, I mean, we definitely studied the existing building to see how that works and what worked well and, you know, what doesn't work well. For example, the mezzanine level on the existing building to the east is relatively low, and there's some head height issues over there. So we've simply, you know, raised up the elevation of the roof to be able to accommodate Gary's needs a little bit better. Understanding the door widths and heights that they need, so that when they bring those vehicles in, they can lift them up as needed, so that they don't have any ceiling issues with that. So it's all customized based on the feedback we've gotten from Gary and his team.
Okay, so you have like a lift in each line then? Do you have like a vehicle lift then, like in each one of those lines, like each door?
No, I don't have, it would be probably more of an air type lift. It wouldn't be a whole vehicle type lift like you have in the auto shop.
Okay. No, I just wondered, because I thought it was gonna be this big giant massive building. I was kind of like, wow, this is a lot smaller than I thought. It's more like a Jiffy Lube for buses, but.
Yeah. Well designed.
Okay. Awesome.
And then we can, if we have to work on a dump truck box, we can dump it up.
Any other comments?
Oh, he's happy, we're happy.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
All right, moving on to building substitutes, item D. Mr. Horton.
In the packet I left you, there's a ton of information in there, touches a lot of different topics. The sub information be on the right-hand side. It's second piece of paper on the right-hand side looks like this. Obviously tonight I just wanted to come in and pitch the idea of the possibility of reinstituting our hiring of all day, every day substitute teachers, one per building. We've done it, this will be the third time in 3 years. We'd have one sub in each school. They'd work a total of 88 school days from January 17 to May 31. Pay is $224 a day. They would also be eligible for one paid day of personal leave and could buy into our insurance plan if they would so choose. The total cost be about $220,000 of ESSER funding, which by doing what we did earlier, I think we've renewed our ability to spend those funds. Few reasons why, you know, subs are obviously in high demand and there's just not many of them. Despite the idea that we added 7 subs just earlier this week, which was great. It was like a windfall of subs. It was awesome. A lot of young people graduating from college right now who need jobs. Our teachers are showing some signs of fatigue, not because they don't have the stamina, but because what they're doing, they've done for 3 years in a row now, and it's very difficult. Tough time of year too. January through March those are the dog days of schoolwork for sure. They've been covering for one another. I mean, even though that goes with the territory, and we all know that, and they're also paid to do so, doesn't make it any easier. That's for sure. And the fact that we have teachers who miss work for a lot of reasons, you know, they get the flu, they get COVID just like everybody else. And they have kids who get RSV. And when they're gone, we need subs. And then lastly, overall, I don't see the conditions for substitute teachers improving a lot. I think the need will still be high, the demand will be high, and the supply will be low. It's going to take us a few years to catch back up, you know, on the heels of COVID and on the heels of what has been referred to as the Great Resignation. So anyway, I just wanted to pitch that idea and answer any questions you might have, and obviously be our recommendation to move forward with it, mostly because it's been at least relatively successful. Hasn't solved all our problems, that's for sure. But it's alleviated some of them. And I think our people do appreciate when they feel like we do everything we can on their behalf. This would be another one of those things of, you know, another thing you could file under doing everything we can do, you know, for our teachers and students. Any questions?
Yeah, I'm glad to see it's coming back. Something I obviously asked for at the beginning of the year, and that would be something that I would think we should do continual. I mean, obviously, general funds affected, not this time. ESSER funds are taking care of it, but so I know it would add to the general fund, but I think it's good for that, just to have somebody extra. But as far as just subs in general, I know we have the 90-day subs that are in that program. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, we've been calling them temps.
Okay.
Learning recovery teachers.
Learning recovery. Yeah. I know
they're
we
really
have
not
those.
subbing for anybody. So they're really kind of
It's a
not
separate-
helping in that regard. In fact, some of them came out of our sub pool.
Well,
So it
that's what-
actually hurts us.
I was gonna say, that's what seems kind of in my mind, is that we've got some decent, you know, people that
They're
really,
fantastic.
You know, they don't want to work full time, but they want to,
Mhm.
they want to be part of the system still and
You bet.
and help out. So I kind of think we're going to struggle because we're struggling with just the day-to-day substitutes.
Mhm.
And maybe there's another time for this, but as far as our regular pay for substitute, are we right in, are we in there?
Yep. I think the last time we looked this up, we were kind of tied for second.
Okay.
Des Moines far and away is ahead of everybody
So it's not
else.
because we're not paying enough.
No.
You hear you know, you get people that say, you need to raise the pay, or people aren't, well, I think it's just the fact people don't want to be in the environment for such as, you know, conditions of, you know, COVID or whatever the, you know, health reasons. And, you know, as you get older, I mean, it does kind of weigh on you a little bit more. So
You bet. And the hard part for me to continue to wrap my mind around is the people just aren't out there to pay.
Yeah.
You know, they do not exist.
yeah, you've alluded to obviously kids graduating midterm or something that need jobs. Are we still working with Iowa State, UNI?
Yep.
All those. So
Yeah, this second semester will be a big semester for student teachers for us. First semester was a little thin, which generally it is thinner than second semester because most kids are on a 4-year plan or maybe the tail end of the 5th year, they tend to graduate, but not tons of midterm grads. So you get kind of a small group that comes out at midterm and then the bumper crop comes out in May.
Yeah. So this group that we would be hiring, they certified teachers. They're not substitute, because I know the governor made that allowance for certain people with a bachelor's degree or an associate's degree or something that could come in and substitute for us. We wouldn't be looking for those type of people. We're looking for true certified teachers the
best way I can answer your question is yes and yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're looking for people who could be long-term substitute teachers. Now, if somebody with just a sub certification, like the person you're talking about, has a BA and I don't know what,
whatever the
astrophysics, and wants to be a substitute teacher, so they go back, take a couple classes, and they can teach. Can only teach in a short-term environment. Whereas somebody who has a teaching degree in a particular field can earn full sub licensure.
Yeah, so does that narrows the pool even more, doesn't it?
Mhm.
Because I think we've got a lot of people that are
Yeah,
working that
they
are-
kind of do the day to
but they
day.
can, those folks can only work, what is it, 10 days in a row, and then they have to have a break, or what?
I think it's 5 in the same
5.
placement.
Okay. So
Yep.
you got some work ahead of you, it sounds like.
And this is just a follow-up. We just increased substitute pay this last
Mhm.
spring. So it hasn't even been a year since we raised our substitute pay.
Yeah.
Recently anyway, so.
Currently, our short-term pay is $145 a day, which puts us kind of second in central Iowa. And then our long-term pay is $224 a day, which puts us at the top.
Okay.
Far and away at the top. I mean, I think we're maybe $25 ahead of everybody else.
And what transfers that from the 145 to 220? How many days do you have to work to get that 220?
5 in a row. 5 in a row in the same placement.
Okay.
Then it switches to 224. It's like the difference between a long-term substitute setup and a short-term.
And is that just a policy that we've set? Or is that just?
Sort of, but it's pretty customary for the most part. We want to, because here's what ends up happening. When you're in a placement for 5 days, all of a sudden you start doing all the things that the substitute teacher or that the regular teacher does. You're grading things, you're coming up with lesson plans, you're going to meetings, you're collaborating with other teachers at your grade level or at your subject matter folks. Whereas if you just come in for 1 day, you come in, you take somebody else's plan, you teach, you go home.
Yeah.
The long-term stuff, all of a sudden you're doing a lot of things that you wouldn't normally do in a short-term placement.
Yeah, and I don't want to make this sound like we should raise it, but it wouldn't probably everybody that we have working for us really could be considered a long-term sub, because I'm pretty sure there's people out there that are working just not in the same place. So I mean, I guess I see what you're saying. If you're in the same building for 5 days, you get the 220.
Mhm.
But I'm sure we've got people that work every day.
Sure.
Because we're so short.
You bet.
It
is, and going that way, if I work in 5 different schools in 5 different days, it's kind of nice because I can come in, deliver a predetermined lesson, and then say, good luck with all that. See you later, and go on to the next building. And there's not a lot of things that happen between this placement and that one. And then I can do it 5 days in a row. So there's really not lots of extra stuff that goes along with 5 short-term placements that are kind of jammed together as opposed to 1 5-day long-term placement. It's just a different experience.
Yeah, and the only reason I think about that in my mind is, I mean, if this was different times where we had someone that just worked 2 days a week, the 145 may be good, but we're really counting on these substitutes to help us out. So I almost think, could we be number one, raise that pay? Show our appreciation for one. I mean, obviously they want to come work here. They're gonna. I don't think it's gonna make a difference if it's $5. They may drive to Urbandale, or they may stay here. But to me, I think we've got a lot of people that are long-term subs now. It's just they're not in the same place every day, and some may be in the same building every day. I know I see people, buildings, and it's like you almost think they're full-time employees because they're there every day. They're just in different rooms. So I guess, and this is probably more to the board, if it's a policy, I think maybe we need to look at our policy and define what truly is long-term sub, because the days of, when Mr. Horton retires, if he chooses to come back and work, you
Don't
may
bet
only
on
want to, don't bet on it. So we can't add you to the pool, huh? But well, he only works to work 2 days a week, or maybe even once a month. That wouldn't be a long-term, but maybe we have to say, hey, Joe, come back. We need you every single day. I think there's some power to that.
I don't
define a
disagree. However,
long-term.
I don't think our budget can withstand that type of an increase. That's like an $80 increase in.
I'm not saying 220. I'm just saying, can we, I think
Might
the
be
long-term
given-
sub, if you're in one room and you're doing the grading every day, you deserve a little more pay, but I think if we're counting on you, hey, I know we got buildings that are calling the same, people up. Are you available? Are you available? Are you available?
It's an ongoing problem. I
and
agree.
Maybe
I don't know
there's-
if $5-10 is that gonna make a big difference, but in the end of the week, once they get their checks or what, end of the month, they get that check. It's well worth it to them to maybe have that extra $5 or $10 and we can be the number one sub. So I just throw that out there because I think it's, I think the pool's short, but maybe we can pull somebody from Ankeny, Urbandale or the west side to come over and work for us. Because I'm sure that everybody's short, but let's be number one.
Maybe an alternative would be some kind of incentive for those that do consistently sub. So it's not necessarily we're going to raise sub pay across the board, but if you're here for so many days in a row in even different positions, then maybe that there's a bonus kind of incentive or something like that. Because I would think we'd want to keep the same people that we're used to working with, around versus maybe pulling in somebody from Urbandale or somewhere else that might come in here and there to sub in. So, but I mean, this is kind of doing what you're saying, right? This is the people that would be part of this wouldn't necessarily be in the same classroom every day. They could be all over the district, right?
Well, they would be all over a particular
Or
building. Yeah, like we'd have one person at the high school who might teach math on Monday and PE on Tuesday.
The difference is these guys are contracted for the next 90 days, where
Till
somebody
May
that
31st. They get
that
paid.
just, they know they have to show up once they sign that contract, they're committed to it. So if somebody, that just wants to be a sub and they're like, I only want to work 3 days. And then they don't show up for the rest of the year. I
Right.
mean, that's,
Right. There's a whole class of substitute teachers who look at a job like this and go, oh, I'm not doing that. I did that. It was called teaching. Why would I do it again?
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it's the definition of what is and how do we define long-term subbing, because, without, looking at somebody and say, okay, well, that person's been here every single day for the last 10 years and they don't even have a full-time contract with us. That person obviously should, maybe they get a little pay. So I don't know. That's not for me to decide. I'm just throwing it out there to say,
Very good.
maybe we need to think about something different in lines of this. I like this. If we
So-
could add 2 or 3 more like this.
For
I'd
the
be-
next meeting, we're just gonna come back with for the next semester, building substitutes. We're not gonna.
No, I'm
on
just,
this, but for the next.
since it's on the
meeting, we're
agenda
gonna-
as,
Yeah,
um,
building substitutes.
building
Yeah.
substitutes, I think, I just thought it'd be appropriate to mention the whole thing. 'cause
Very good. Very good.
whether you like it or not.
And I'm gonna move us along now, if you guys don't have any other comments.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you for your time.
Sure.
So